Hello YouTube, back once again with my Game of Thrones review, and here we are with episode 2, The House of Black and White, and, I'll talk about this episode. I'll just go through it character by area, not just how the plot unfolded. So first everyone's favorite character who was not in the premiere of this season showed up, and that is Arya. Arya, she has crossed the Narrow Sea, has gone to where the Iron Bank is, forget what it's called, sorry about that. She makes it to the house where the assassin says he'll be, and the faceless assassin from season 2 would be, and she gets there, and lo and behold, when she gets there, no luck, someone else opens the door, then just slams it right on her face, and oh, poor Arya, never catch a break, that girl. And so then, so sad, you just see Arya just sitting there for days, just waiting for, refusing to leave, just saying the names of her assassins list. Oh yeah, that's one thing, when she was going through her name, she said the Mountain. Why does she hate the Mountain so much? I understand, I know why she hated the Hound, but why the Mountain? If someone knows, can you leave in the comments, because I really don't know. So she eventually just gives up, just is forced to walk away. It's such a sad moment for Arya. Really felt like you really feel for Arya, just when she's just in the town, she almost gets into a fight with three thugs, and when she's about to start fighting them, just the guy who slammed the door in her face shows up. Three thugs run away, and then he leads her back to the place, and of course the door is black and white. That's where the thing came from, the name of the episode comes from. And then she says well, who are you? And then he the guy touches his face, and it's real to be the faceless assassin guy. And I like the line he said, just when she said, "You said there was no man by your name here." It's I'm not a man. I was I like that line, but so yeah, that's with Arya. Pretty cool stuff going on with Arya. I'm excited to see her starting to be gonna start trying to be an assassin. That's cool. So then there was that. Then we go into Brienne and Pod, and these guys really do need a spin-off show. They are so wonderful with each other. Brienne and Pod, they're just chilling out in a local tavern, there's a nice little callback to the whole idea that is supposed to be quite the ladies' man, just when he's just getting his drink filled by a smiling serving lady, and he's just hey there, and she's hey. I was like, yeah, Pod. But then lo and behold, who is sitting a few seats away from the Pod? Lord Baelish and Sansa. And of course, you're just yelling, "Brienne, turn around, you stupid fuck." Just realize she's there. But Pod notices her. Good going for Pod. He notices that there's Sansa there, and Brienne just basically stands up and hey, it's just hey Sansa, my mom wanted to get me to go save you and protect you and stuff, and I love Sansa becomes better and better a season, just starting to become an actual power player is great. The way she goes up, she's becoming a power player, and just how cold-hearted she's becoming. There's just a great line, just when Brienne's just please let me help protect you, and she's no. And then Lord Baelish, just as great as ever, is his manipulation and just how much he pains other people just through words. When he's just well, let's go through the list now, Brienne, for people you serve to protect. First there was Renly, he got stabbed by a ghost. Then there was Catelyn Stark, who had her throat slit. You're not very good at protecting people, are you? And then so it's just really intense. Some sort of action sequences break out. And it's actually pretty cool. What happens is then Brienne just punches a guard, runs outside. First she tries to get all the guards' horsemen to run away, and so they'll have trouble chasing her. Her and Pod go on horseback and start charging away, and that's going on. And then Brienne goes on one path, and Pod actually goes on the other. Oh, Pod, but then Pod hits a dead end, and when he's on the road, when he goes back on the road, he runs into a knight. You're just and then the knight's about coming, no, Pod, not Pod, anyone but Pod. I love Pod. But last second, Brienne shows up, saves the house. Yeah, Brienne, such a great moment. And then you see Brienne kill 2 other guards on horseback. And you're yeah, Brienne, you badass. That was awesome. great action moment, great moment of intensity. Love that. So then we're there. Then there was, so that was what was going on with them that episode. Really great action there, and intensity. Then we went back to, Cersei at King's Landing, and, Cersei probably had my favorite line of this episode. I'll say it in a sec. Cersei, she's getting threats from Dorne. Finally, Dorne's coming into play. They're pissed off that Oberyn got his head crushed by the mountain, and they're threatening to kill her daughter who's in Dorne, and to kill her daughter who's in Dorne, and so then Jaime's like, that's it, I am going to Dorne, and I'm gonna bring our daughter back to us, and then she's like, who are you gonna how you're a one-handed man who can barely fight. How can you be any help? Who said I'm going alone? And my only thought was, who the hell is there left for him to bring along? I will say that in a moment. First, I just want to say what Lena Headey probably had the best line of this episode, where she basically just called Margie, and then Tommen's probably gonna marry that Tyrell whore. I was like, Lena Headey, you're amazing. I was like just calling Marjorie a whore. That was fantastic. So yeah, that's going on. And then for the rest of Cersei, it's kind of just her just talking to the council, just assigning a new hand to the king. Not much going on with that. Just pretty basic game politics, Game of Thrones stuff. But then we saw who Jaime was getting as a travel companion, and I was surprised. I forgot about this character. It was Bronn. Bronn's back, and you see him with like the woman he got betrothed to when he made the deal with Cersei in the last season. And Bronn's just hilarious, just because like his wife, the woman's kind of a ditz, and but Bronn is just such a nice guy. He's still being like, oh no, it's okay. As long as you give me money and power, it's okay. I'll be nice to you. Like, that was great. And then Jaime just shows up, and Jaime's like, I'll get you a better woman, more money, and a better castle if you go with me. And Bronn's like, okay. That's great. I really love the idea of Jaime and Bronn being traveling buddies from now on. That's gonna be cool. Fun. And then we finally go to Dorne in this season. First time we hit Dorne. Dorne. It was a nice, cool, short scene. It was a bit too short though. For how I guess they only showed it because I think they were gonna get a lot of at this point, 2 episodes in, they would probably get a lot of backlash for the fact that there was so much build up to Dorne and the marketing for the season. The fact that there would be 2 episodes in, there'd be no Dorne at all. So yeah, it was a quick thing in Dorne. You just saw Oberyn's brother, now king, I guess. Oberyn's girlfriend is basically just walks into his chambers, and she just says they killed Oberyn. We should announce war on them. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. He died in combat. He knew what the risks were. This is not an act of war. And then she's like, don't you love your brother? It's like, yes, I loved your brother, but we can't go to war. This is just going too far. And she's like, well, I want to take Cersei's. I say we take Cersei's daughter and send her back to Cersei finger by finger. It's like, no, she's an innocent child. Don't do that. So you didn't spend much time with this guy, but he's a very likable guy, very, very, very intelligent guy. Not by any means a dick in any way, and good diplomat. So I want to see more of Dorne. Excited for more Dorne this season. So that happened. So we got through those characters. There was a quick scene between Tyrion and Cerberus still on the road, and just a great line of them just speaking philosophically about how we were good leaders, how the people don't like to follow us, even though we're probably the more intelligent of the leaders, just because we are the way that we are. Tyrion also has learned there's actually a bounty on his head made by Cersei, which was actually led to a really dark scene in which you learn that there's now just assassin just killing any dwarf, hoping that it's Tyrion. So, yeah, getting dark. That was pretty dark when you saw the dead dwarf's head, decapitated head, just put on the table. That was pretty dark stuff. But yeah, that's a quick scene between Tyrion and Cerberus. There was a great line about how Tyrion was just yeah, people don't like us very much, do they? That made me laugh really hard. So yeah, that was good. So you hit Dorne, okay. Other characters, okay, and then there was good old Emilia Clarke, and Emilia Clarke probably, I like where she this is going with her, how she's basically being more diplomatic more than any other character, like probably ever in this show, like in the season, just like how she wants to like announce these laws, how there should be trial, there should be law, we should just be killing people for when we want to, and I really love the ramifications from this, like basically because like she's forced to because someone broke the law, like someone who's on her side, has to kill them, and even though that pisses off all her citizens because it was a non-slaver, it was one of them, she still kills them, and even though like everyone starts like booing her and starts like wanting to kill her, like she just says it had to be done, it has to be done because they need to know that all men are bound by the law. It doesn't matter where you're from, you are all just under the same law, and that was a really interesting piece of diplomatics, and so that was pretty good, thought-provoking scene. Then the third dragon came back. Forget what its name is, but always cool to see the dragons. Just a quick thing. And finally, let's talk about what my favorite part of this episode was, and that is Dearest Jon Snow. That was everything that happened to the wall. Everything that happened to the wall in this episode was freaking amazing. First we saw Gilly, gotta love learning how to read from Stannis' daughter. Always love Stannis' daughter. I think she's adorable. I always love how she shows the humanity in Stannis that he rarely likes to show. And she's teaching Gilly how to read, and Gilly, gotta love Gilly, always such a nice, perky little character, and yeah, it was just a nice little scene between the two. Still, hey, says his wife's still my most hated character, just a freaking creeper, just why is she there? She's just unpleasant. Yeah, and so that happened, but then the huge thing that happens is Lord Stannis Baratheon offers to Jon Snow, pledge loyal to me, I will clearly clear you of your bastard name. And Jon's like, oh my god, I kind of want this. Like, Sam, I want this. I've always kind of wanted to not have a bastard name. I don't want to be the bastard of Winterfell anymore. But no, Sam's like, but dude, like, don't you want to be here with the Night's Watch? I mean, you're my best buddy. I always love the bromance between Sam and Jon. They probably have the most legitimate friendship out of any character on the show when you get down to it. Just no power, no, it's not about power or anything else. It's just purely they're friends, and that's why they enjoy each other's company. And while this is going on, there's gonna be a vote among the Night's Watch members about who should be their new leader now, and this led to my favorite scene of the episode, just when like everyone was pledging the main two, one being the guy who led the defense of Castle Black. I forget the guy's name, the one who like really hates Jon Snow, and then the guy who ran away during the attack on Castle Black, and like ran into the room where Gilly was during the invasion of Castle Black. So those two are going up, and then so they just complete their arguments about why they're better. But then Sam stood up and said, "I nominate Jon Snow." You're like, yeah, Sam, gotta love you. I love you, Sam. And then Sam's just like. And then just like the guy who ran away just said like, oh, well, you know what, this is coming from the guy who sleeps with a wilding. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what, you bastard, my wilding girlfriend saw you hiding in the basement with her and her infant child when the invasion Castle Black is happening, shitting your pants. I was like, fuck yeah, Sam. I was like, awesome, that was amazing. And then so that happened, and then Jon Snow says, but then Sam says, like, to the other guy, like, I honored you. You were a great fighter. You did your best, but when you were injured, Jon Snow finished the battle for us. He helped lead us to victory. And so that was great. And then, like, so I like that. I like the fact that showed Sam, like, does still respect this guy, and so does Jon. He just wanted Jon to be leader more. And then I liked so then the vote comes, and so then the vote comes. It's even between Jon and the guy who led the defense, and then though the oldest member of the Night's Watch, I keep forgetting what the guy's name is. And the actor dies. I think this may have been his last episode. I don't know, but he then has the deciding vote. He gives it to Jon. Jon's now the new leader of the Night's Watch. Just the plot point that finally had to happen, just to go, yay, Jon! Wow! And so that's all that happens. Great episode, great character moments, great dark comedy, great locations, great preview for things to come. just great episode all around. Really excited for the next one. I'm John. You two, please subscribe. I will see you next time. Okay, bye.